Okay, probably some of the most difficult areas to actually run the ball or throw the ball. We find that once you get inside the 10-yard line, things become very limited down there. And so I'm going to show you a concept that gives you a lot of different answers to a lot of different defensive personnel groups or situations that you can get the ball into your best athlete's hands while doing it safely, okay? And what I mean by safely is like keeping your quarterback safe, okay? I think before you start designing plays and whether you're going to run the ball or pass the ball, particularly down this area and every play in particular, is you got to know how to block it. Okay, so how are you going to block first and then design the play? So the blocking scheme itself for us is a slide protection. Okay, so we're going to tell, for us, the number 60 tells our line of scrimmage that they're going to slide protect to the right. And so our linemen are taught that the guy head up to your outside shoulder, the gap to the inside shoulder of the next man is the guy you're going to reach block, okay? We're going to try to hook his outside shoulder and push him to the backside of the play. Make sure not to go downfield, but be in a very, very aggressive reach block, okay? Because we want our quarterback to run on this, all right? So if the line of scrimmage is overloaded, we're going to reach everybody to the play side and allow the backside defensive end to be the one that comes free. So obviously we only have 5 linemen. If they bring 6 guys, we can't block all of them. But we can block every single gap to the play side and allow the backside C gap be the one that's unblocked because our quarterback's in motion, okay? And so what we do with our line of scrimmage is not only do we slide protect with our line of scrimmage, but we also get our running back involved. And so we find that the hardest block on the line of scrimmage is blocking that defensive end, depending on how much he's flexed out, whether he's in an air technique or not. But we do tell our running back, if there's a defensive end on the line of scrimmage and it looks like he's in an air technique, you have to help our tackle with that guy. So it will end up being a double team, okay? If not, there's going to be a stand-up linebacker out there, and if there is a stand-up linebacker, you have to anticipate that that guy is on an outside rush, and so you're going to have to block his outside shoulder. His aiming point for any outside linebacker would be the outside crotch of his neck, okay? Okay, so that's kind of how we're going to block it. We're going to tell our quarterback that he's going to take his heels are at 5 yards, and his drop is going to be anywhere between 8 and 10 yards. Okay, so we do want our quarterback to get some depth away from the line of scrimmage, okay, because we want to make sure we create some space. Creating space is allow players to get, it's going to create an area to where the defensive line is going to take some time to get to him. And so we do like him on the run as well, because in closed areas in such a small space in the red zone, it's real easy to pick quarterbacks off, because if they're in the pocket, their shoulders and eyes are going to tell you where the ball's going to go, because they're going to try to get the ball there in a hurry. But if a quarterback's running, it's really hard to read his shoulders, okay? Because a lot of times quarterbacks can throw on the run without actually using their shoulders, and then just whip the ball from either sidearm over the top, and they can really trick you with their eyes. So reading a quarterback on the run is incredibly difficult, and that's why we like to do it down here in the red zone. Okay, so our quarterback's going to leave the pocket, get out and run about 3/4 speed at depth of 8 to 10 yards, okay, while putting his eyes in a space to where his eyes are going to hit 5 yards above this stacked formation, okay? And so if we look at the formation itself, we're going to call it stack, okay? So it's a 2x2 set. If it's 2x2, we just call it twins. If it's 2x2, but our receivers are stacked, we just call it stacked. We don't call it twin stack. It's just too much verbiage. Okay, so we'll just call that stack, okay? All right, so let's work from left to right, understanding all of these route concepts here, and then we'll talk about where our quarterback's eyes go here in a second, okay? So out of this stack formation, the X receiver on the left side has what we call a choice route. He can do multiple things out of that. The closer we are to the goal line, the less he's going to be able to do. So in this particular drawing, we're right up against the goal line. So his choice would be, I'm going to run what we call a pylon route. Okay, we're going to push vertical and run back to the pylon, or I'm going to run a slant. Okay, so he gets to make that choice. And if the quarterback's going to go to him, the quarterback is told, you have to use old school backyard recess kind of mindset play. Is I'm going to take a drop and I'm just going to read that guy and read the route and then chuck it to him. We don't take that choice route a lot, but we have in the past, okay? So moving over to the play side, we're going to send this guy in motion, okay? This is our cheetah, okay? He's in the slot. And that's what the rip motion comes in. So we call it rip because we're moving our slot to the right. Okay, so that's where we got that terminology. So we're in stack formation, and we're going to rip that receiver across. And what that identifies is, are they in man coverage? Okay. If somebody is following and in chase of that motion, they're in man coverage, which is great. And that's what you find a lot down here is man coverage. And so if they are in man coverage, as the quarterback's rolling out, we're really trying to get the ball to this cheetah really fast. So catch the ball, quarterback, get out into your roll technique, and chuck the ball out to that cheetah. Because what we anticipate is as this guy's going in motion and somebody is in chasing, this Z receiver's inside revert route may get in the way of that defensive back or that linebacker in chase and slow him down, and we can find ourselves with an open man. Okay, that's an ideal world, right? So we send that guy in motion. We want to get the ball to him. That Z receiver gets in the way of the guy in chase, and we can get that ball into the flat. Doesn't always work out that way. So our second read is where our eyes went as a quarterback on this revert route. And so we're going to tell him to push inside to the outside hip of the tackle. And then once he hits the outside hip of the tackle, he's going to revert out, okay? And although that the drawing has a straight line, we're going to give that Z some freedom to either go straight back out and run to the sideline, or he can float to find open space. We really want him to be an athlete, particularly down in this area, because we don't want to throw picks. We don't want to throw interceptions. So in this area, we're going to just tell him, find open space. Now, quarterback's rolling to his right, so therefore you have to go to your right, but find open space to your right. All right, so he becomes our second read. And then our third read is the corner route, okay? A lot of times what he does is just occupy a player, pulls a player out, maybe pulls a safety out of his zone coverage. And so our quarterback knows if you get into your progression, and 1's not open, 2's not open, and then 3's not open, he can just throw it out of the back of the end zone. Okay. So a lot of things happening here. Quarterback rolls out. He's going to try to identify see if we can get it to that number one guy in man coverage. If it's not man coverage, which is sometimes it's zone coverage, what happens is a hanging defender will chase that out, and that revert becomes open in this area. Okay. And then if also in zone coverage, if there's a safety inside leverage here, we might be able to get that safety and beat that safety to the corner. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples here. This would be an example of sending our guy in motion. There's a guy chasing him, so that quarterback identifies it's man coverage. Okay, we're going to reach block with our line of scrimmage. Quarterback's going to roll. He gets to about 8 to 9 yards, which is perfect. Okay, gets good depth. Gets away from that outside backer. Okay, so the blocking scheme looks good. I think our running back should have attacked the line of scrimmage, which he did not. I don't know why he did that. But we're going to get the ball to the guy running the out, because if you noticed, as he's coming across, it wasn't our revert route that got in the way. It was the actual safety that got in his own player's way that slowed him down. And so that gave us an opportunity to get it to the guy we wanted. Okay. So real easy completion too. Okay, quarterback's rolling out, playing backyard ball right here. Super easy. Okay. Same situation. Send the receiver in motion. There's some movement, but nobody's really chasing, so maybe it's zone coverage. Okay, so the quarterback kind of recognizes that. Nobody's really moving. Okay. We're going to slide protect. Outside backer should be taken by the running back. Running back sees that the outside backer is there. He's going to attack the inside crotch of his neck. Still would like that running back to actually go upfield a little bit more. Does a great job of sealing him to the backside, which is great. So the quarterback, again, his eyes are going to go to the quick out here. It's not available. Our Z receiver is going to hit that revert and, again, find open space to the right, knowing the quarterback's moving to his right. And the receiver on the top is going to run to the corner.